G'day Internet, my name is Jason Sabalo and this is a Catholic Social Democrats vlog. This is our first ever upload, so welcome to my channel. Hopefully you'll like it. So this first video we're just going to be having a bit of an introduction to who I am and what this channel is going to be about. So my name is Jason Sabalo. I'm 47 years of age and I live in Canberra, Australia. And if you're not sure, Canberra is the capital of Australia. I'm a student of philosophy and I'm going to be talking more about that. Maybe the most important thing about me is that I am a Catholic. I believe that Jesus of Nazareth was God. I believe that he died for my sins. I believe that he is present through the Catholic Church and that he is present in the sacraments. And yeah, that's, I guess, an awful lot to sum up there, but I am going to be talking about all those issues in more detail in future uploads. I'm also a social democrat. What does that mean? Well, basically it means that I belong to what would broadly be called the moderate left wing of politics. I'm a member of the Australian Labor Party, which is, for those of you not familiar with Australian politics, the Australian Labor Party is the main centre-left party in Australian politics. It's roughly the equivalent of the United States Democrats, although I think we are definitely more left-wing than the Democrats, but that's definitely something I'll be talking about more. I should say I'm a member of the Australian Labor Party. I'm in many ways not the biggest fan of my party's leadership. There are a lot of ways in which I think the Labor Party could and should be more social democratic, and I'm an advocate for that. But I am a member of the party. As I said, I will be talking in much more detail about my political beliefs and about some important issues in future uploads. While I'm talking, I've mentioned I'm a member of the Catholic Church, I'm a member of the Australian Labor Party. It's very important for me to state I speak on this channel for myself and only for myself. I have no office in either the Catholic Church or the Labor Party or in any other organisation that empowers me to speak on anyone's behalf but myself. So if you hear something you don't like, blame me that I'm only talking for myself. So, what else should you know about me? As I said, I'm a philosophy student. I've been a lover of philosophy ever since I was about 15 or 16. I took a course in high school on ancient Greek history, and everyone had to do a project on some aspect of ancient Greek culture. And I became really interested in the ancient Greek philosophers, and particularly in Plato and Aristotle, and I did my project on that, and I should add I got an A. But ever since then, I've been really interested in philosophy, and I studied it at uni, and I'm hopefully going to continue studying it at the postgraduate level. Now, philosophy is a broad subject, and I'm certainly going to be talking more about it in future videos to give you a bit of an idea of what philosophy is. But to briefly sum up my philosophical views, I am what's known as an Aristotelian Thomist. That is to say that my two big philosophical heroes are the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle and the medieval philosopher and theologian and Catholic saint St. Thomas Aquinas. Now, that's not by any means to say that they're the only philosophers I'll read or study, or that they're the only people who I think have worthwhile things to say. There are an awful lot of philosophers that I think have interesting and important things to say. But if you're looking for a very nutshell summary of where I'm coming from, I'm a fan of those two great thinkers. Another really important thing you're going to have to know about me, and that I'm going to talk about more on this vlog, is that I am a mentally ill person, a fairly seriously mentally ill person. I'm autistic, or to be more precise, I'm on the autistic spectrum, and my autism affects me quite a bit in my day-to-day life and makes a lot of things very hard for me to do. I also have generalized anxiety disorder, and the combination of autism and the anxiety disorder sometimes makes my life suck in fairly serious ways. I may have other mental illnesses in addition to those two. My psychiatrist isn't sure. I occasionally display symptoms that don't quite fit into either the autism or anxiety mold, so it's hard to say. As I said, my psychiatrist isn't sure, but I take my meds, I work regularly with mental health professionals. Hopefully I'm getting better, but I'm not sure. It's kind of a day-to-day struggle. But that is something that if it impacts fairly deeply who I am, and once again, I do plan to talk about that in more detail in future uploads. Other things to know and share about me: I am a lay Dominican. If you're not Catholic, you may have no idea what that is, or even if you're Catholic, you may not be sure. It broadly means that I'm a member of the organisation called the Lay Dominican Fraternities. I definitely, don't worry at this point, I am definitely going to go into that in more detail, and I will do a video in the not too distant future explaining what that means and why it's important to me. I identify as a nerd. I identify as a nerd fighter. Don't worry, a nerd fighter is not someone who fights against nerds. I'm sure I'll explain that in a future video. I'm a big fan of tabletop role-playing games and sometimes of live-action role-playing games. I'm a fan of various sports teams. I support the Fremantle Dockers. I support Celtic Football Club. I support the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins did great this year and then kind of crashed when they got to the playoffs. I may talk about that more in future. I may not. No promises, but that's a bit of a thing to know about me. I'm a big music fan. I wish I could say that I played music as well as make it, but I am afraid I have absolutely no musical talent. But I listen to music an awful lot. If you made me pick one particular form of music as my favourite, I'd probably say opera. I really love opera. My favourite composer of opera is Richard Wagner, but I also like other forms of classical music. I also love rock. I love jazz. I love the blues. And there are a few other bits of music that don't fall into those genres that I like. So I definitely plan to talk about my musical tastes again in future uploads. I will tell you now, my two favourite popular music acts are the Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan, and I'm definitely going to be talking about those in uploads in the near future. So I guess I'm a person with fairly broad interests. This channel, it's going to be about religion, obviously, because I'm Catholic. It's going to be about politics, because I'm a social democrat. It's also going to mention philosophy, apologetics, theology, but I'm also going to talk about art and music that I like. I'm also going to occasionally just do blogs where I share personal stuff. So hopefully in all of this, you're going to find something that you find interesting. If what I'm talking about does sound interesting and you'd like to hear more of what I have to say, I would very much appreciate it if you would hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you very much to anyone who does that. And yeah, I will see you in future videos. Please pray for me, and if you wouldn't mind praying for the success of this channel, that would be very much appreciated. I plan to pray regularly for all my viewers. Thank you very much, and God bless.